This is the OnePlus 15 and this is the OnePlus 13. And wow, I don't think I've ever seen such a large change from one generation to another. So I think this is going to make a very interesting video here of the OnePlus 15 versus OnePlus 13. So this is my comparison between the OnePlus 15 and OnePlus 13. Now OnePlus did actually give me both of these devices, and it's hard to believe that it really hasn't even been a full year since the OnePlus 13 is launched, and we're already getting the successor. Now with the launch of the OnePlus 13, I did go on a really fun influencer trip with OnePlus, where we actually went on a cruise to the Bahamas, and we were able to get some hands-on time with the devices, and then basically have it be our travel companion. So that was a really fun experience. And this phone did launch in January of 2025, so fast forward from then to now, November of 2025, and we now have the OnePlus 15. Now, one of the reasons why the OnePlus 15 did launch sooner than a year from the launch of the predecessor is because they wanted to sync the global launch of the OnePlus 15 with the launch in China, and I'm sure you noticed that they did go from 13 to 15, so there is no 14, and that's because 14 is an unlucky number. But this time around, with the OnePlus 15, we're getting a completely new design language. Another new thing too is that there no longer is a collaboration with Hasselblad, so they still have really good cameras here on this device. It's just that there is no legacy camera collaboration here. So not only are we getting completely different materials between these two devices, but also the overall form factors of the two phones are a bit different as well. So with the OnePlus 13, the corners are certainly a bit more boxy in comparison to the OnePlus 15. Also with the OnePlus 15, this display is completely flat, whereas the OnePlus 13 does have a little bit of a curve to the display. So factoring in all these various changes, it is very dramatic going from one generation to another. Another big change is the mute switch. So we do have more of a switch here with the OnePlus 13, but then with the OnePlus 15, it is simply a button. Now it is good to see that there is at least a button and they didn't completely get rid of this feature, but that is one of the biggest changes we've seen yet with a OnePlus device as far as that actual feature. And that is a feature that's very popular with the OnePlus community. Now the OnePlus 13 has since been updated to Android 16, and we're getting a super buttery smooth version of Oxygen OS here. Of course, the OnePlus 15 does come with Android 16 out of the box, and we're getting that same experience. So I especially appreciate that OnePlus has put so much effort into their software, and they're really giving their users a very refined software experience. They really care about little things too, such as the animations and just the overall look of the software, and you can certainly tell that attention to detail here with both of these devices running Oxygen OS. Now you can see side by side though, the OnePlus 15 is slightly smaller, so this display is smaller at 6.78 inches compared to 6.82 inches. Also, we have a difference with the refresh rate. So there's actually a faster refresh rate with the OnePlus 15. This phone does have 165 Hz compared to 120 Hz with the OnePlus 13. On the other hand, the display here at the OnePlus 15 is lower resolution, with it being 1272 by 2772 compared to 1440 by 3168. So that means that we're getting 450 ppi compared to 510 ppi. Now in reality, when looking at these displays, you really can't tell the difference. Both look excellent, so I really don't mind that, and especially since we're getting a faster refresh rate here with the OnePlus 15, which I believe is the reason why the display is slightly lower of resolution, but that's a totally fine compromise in my opinion. Now we're getting a 19.5:9 aspect ratio with the OnePlus 15 compared to 19.8:9 with the OnePlus 13. And then both phones do have very good screen to body ratios with 90.8 with the OnePlus 15, and then the OnePlus 13 has 90.7. So both phones have super small bezels, and especially with the OnePlus 15, since this phone doesn't have a curved display, the bezels look even smaller here. And then with both phones, we do have hole punches for the front-facing cameras, and the front cameras on both devices are 32 megapixels. Now, depending on the version of the phone that you do get, you might have different storage configurations, but both of these phones do have 512 gigabytes of storage, and they also both have 16 gigabytes of RAM. So we're getting a really good setup here with both phones. Both phones also support up to 50-watt wireless charging if you're using a compatible wireless charger. And then both devices do have in-display fingerprint sensors. So we'll give this a try first with the OnePlus 15, very fast, and then now for the 13. So it's a very similar functionality there, of course, but both work really well. And then with these phones, we're also getting Face Unlock, and then with these devices, we're also getting triple camera setups. So both phones do have 50 megapixel main cameras, 50 megapixel ultra wide angle cameras, and then both phones do have 50 megapixel periscope telephoto cameras, but it is 3.5x optical zoom with the OnePlus 15 compared to 3x optical zoom with the OnePlus 13. Now with the OnePlus 15, we're getting the latest and greatest from Qualcomm. We're getting the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 compared to the OnePlus 13 that just has the Snapdragon 8 Elite. So I did run benchmark tests with both phones using Geekbench 6, and you can see the differences of the scores here. So there's definitely some improvements with the OnePlus 15 over the 13, but still, the 13 is very fast, that's for sure. And regardless, both chips are really good on both devices. So in my opinion, that's not really that big of a deal, but nonetheless, still nice to see that there is an upgrade here with the OnePlus 15. Now, both phones do have silicon carbon batteries, but we're getting a bigger battery here with the OnePlus 15, with it being a 7,300 milliamp hour internal battery compared to a 6,000 milliamp hour internal battery with the OnePlus 13. And then both phones do support up to 80 watt fast charging, which is really awesome. But again, the biggest difference with these two devices is the look of the phones. So the camera modules look different, the finishes on the phones look different as well. So we are getting Midnight Ocean for this version of the OnePlus 13 compared to Sandstorm with the OnePlus 15. Now I love this Sandstorm look, this just looks amazing. It's a very clean and very simple design, and I still think the OnePlus 13 looks really nice in its own way, but I do really prefer this look of the OnePlus 15. But most importantly, I'm curious to know what you think. Do you prefer the OnePlus 13 or OnePlus 15? Do you feel like this phone is a worthy upgrade compared to the 13, or do you wish we would have gotten more? Certainly let me know, but this is Kevin here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great rest of your day.